Just give a message. Is it audible? Oh, okay. 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 So here, in a data transfer modes, actually, in a data transfer modes, why we have to study this data transfer modes means from whenever external peripheral devices wants to transfer the data, definitely whatever the data wants to transfer must be stored inside a memory. But external peripheral device and memory, there is no direct connection. With the help of a processor only it has to do. For that, we are having three different, but you can also include that here IOP also, input output processor. So one is programmed IO, interrupt initiated IO, direct memory access, input what IOP. Okay, input output processor. Now coming for programmed IO, for the last class I explained about an example. I considered an example called boss considered an example like a boss. You, while explaining, you try to see my mouse cursor, it's enough. There is a CPU called a boss, and here in the intermediator interface is like a PA, and here is a IO module, IO external peripherals as a clients. Okay, this I already discussed. So what is happening here? Whenever processor wants to read, it will give a message, IO read message. So after receiving that, what it will do? Just a minute, ma. So after that, external peripheral devices, whenever they are ready to transfer the byte, so it will be stored inside. It will be stored inside this IO bus, and from that IO bus, after placing the data inside that IO bus, it will give a data valid signal. Upon receiving that data valid signal, that upon receiving this, what interface will do? Interface will take the data from that bus and will place inside a data register. After that, meanwhile, what processor will do upon issuing a read command? It continuously, after some time period, go on checking whether flag is equal to 1 or not. If it is not 1, again it goes and it will execute its main program. If it is 1, that indicates that it is ready. Means the data transfer between IO and external peripheral devices and IO interface completed by seeing this status. So what it will do? Whatever the data which is IO read, the data will be read. Whatever the data which is there in the data register will be read with the help of this data bus and will be placed inside a memory. Okay, so here one side will be memory will be there. See here, why? Because if you and oka chinna topic, if you can understand, see ma, if you can understand whole four modules, you can clearly. So after taking the data from here, where it will place? Processor will place the data which is there in the data register inside a memory. Okay, this is your concept. Now going for interrupt initiated IO. What is the problem in programmed IO? CPU continuously after some time period checking whether it is ready or not. So to overcome that, what processor is doing is processor just giving a read command. So after giving a read command, IO interface, if there is a data placed, if any external peripheral places the data, and after placing the data, definitely IO interface will say give a that data is valid. Upon receiving that, IO interface will take the data, same whatever previously what we have discussed in the programmed IO, it will be same, but what changes I will show you here. Until here it will places the data, and after placing the data, after receiving the data, it will be placed as data accepted. After accepting the data, what it will do? It will convert this flag to one, that it is ready. So once it is saying, what processor will do? The interface will not give any information that whether the data transfer has done or not. But whereas in interrupt initiated IO, interrupt will be given to the processor saying that the data transfer is done. So now after that, what upon receiving the interface, what CPU will do? CPU will place that. So what is the understood the difference between programmed IO and interrupt initiated IO? Whereas in programmed IO, processor will continuously check this flag after some time period whether it is 1 or not. Why it will be 1, why it will be 0? It will be 1 when data transfer is ready. Means what? External peripheral devices are very slow, so whatever the byte or whatever the block that it wants to transfer, it takes some time. So meanwhile, what processor will do? Processor will execute its main program. After executing its main program, for every instruction, everyone knows that, first studied in the first unit, for every instruction, what processor will do? Processor will fetch the instruction, decode it, and execute it. Upon taking the next instruction for execution, what processor will do is, processor will check this whether it is ready and the data transfer is ready, so that I will give the service to that. So if it is not ready, again it goes to that instruction, it will fetch the instruction, it will decode, and it will execute. If it is ready, if it is 1, means what it will do? It fetches the data from the data register, and the data which is there in the data register will be placed inside a memory. Whereas in program interrupt initiated IO, it will just give a IO read command, and data will be placed everything, and after keeping the flag bit as 1, what processor will do is, processor will not continuously check. He interface itself will give an interrupt. So this is not the programmed IO, this is not interrupt IO. Let me. So what happens? Interrupt will be given. Interrupt will be given to the processor that it is ready. So upon receiving the interrupt, the processor will take the data from the register and it places in the memory. Now let me see. Let me show the interrupt. So here in priority interrupt. So now why there is a need of going for a priority interrupt is the first question. So try to understand, ma. So here till now what we discussed. So processor upon initiating whether if they are ready, after transferring, IO itself will give an interrupt that data transfer is ready. So try to take the data and try to place inside a main memory. Okay, but it is okay, fine, if it is only external peripheral device is active. But let us consider, as everyone knows that external peripheral devices are not one. There will be more number of external peripheral devices, like one will be keyboard, mouse, joystick, printer, so many will be there. Okay, so touch screen, whatever it may be. So at a time, let us consider, at a time keyboard is active, at a time mouse is active, at a time external peripheral device, whatever let us consider there are 10 external peripheral device. In that, at a time 4 are active. Okay, at a time 4 are active, and 4 at a time giving a 4 at a time giving a reply, giving a interrupt to the processor saying that I want your service. Okay, so what processor has to do? Meanwhile, what processor will do? Processor will execute its main program execution one by one instruction it will take, it will fetch, it will decode, it will execute, again it goes to memory location for fetching, decoding. So while doing this, it will not monitor continuously. When it in which data transfer it monitors continuously? In programmed IO. Whereas in interrupt initiated IO, processor will get an interrupt saying that it wants a processor service. So what happens if one interrupt occurs is simply, for the last class I explained that it stops its main program execution. Whatever the next address is there, that address will be stored inside a stack with the help of push operation. Next, it jumps to interrupt service routine. After completing, it returns to main program by popping that instruction and it executes. But what happens if there are multiple interrupts giving a interrupt signal at a time? So there is a problem. So how to overcome this? So how to overcome is, we have to design a circuit to solving this. So for that, we are having two ways to solving this. What are those two ways is, see here, you must know priority interrupt. So what is this priority interrupt? See here, identify the source of the interrupt when several sources will request the service simultaneously at the same time. Determine which condition is to be served first when two or more requests arrive simultaneously. So at the same time when they are giving, for let us consider for sake of understanding, one is giving from one request from keyboard and the other request from magnetic disk or magnetic tapes. Okay, so which one will be served first will be decided based on the speed data transfer rate. Okay, definitely the data transfer rate for a keyboard mouse will be less when compared to the data transfer for high speed data transfer called magnetic disk and magnetic tapes. So those will be having a highest priority. Okay, so this solution can be done in two ways. You can design in two ways. So what are those two ways is, one is software and the other one is hardware. Okay, so in a software you can implement this priority problem. So what is this? I want an answer, ma. What is a priority interrupt when coming to, just an answer, just give a message. What is priority interrupt? What is priority interrupt? No one? Not understood? Should I repeat once again? Yes. Priority interrupt is nothing but processor will execute its main. Yes, I'm getting answers. Okay. So till okay, I'm getting an answer. So priority, when you will go for a normal priority is when external peripherals are available. If I show this diagram so that you can understand. Okay, so here this diagram is only for one case, and here processor will not, in a programmed IO processor will not get an interrupt. Processor itself will continuously checks its external peripheral device, how many external peripheral devices are there, that peripheral devices, whether the status bit is one or not. If it is activated a read command, processor itself will check. Okay, in programmed IO. Whereas in interrupt initiated IO, interrupt signal will be given to the processor for stopping its main program and to provide the service to external peripheral device. For that, we are going for interrupt driven IO. So time will be reduced in interrupt driven IO when compared to programmed IO. Why? Because processor time is wasted much time for continuously checking whether data is ready, so that I will transfer the data to memory. Okay, whereas in interrupt initiated IO, just an interrupt, until an interrupt signal occurs means receives a processor, what processor will do, processor will execute its main program instructions. But there is one more problem in interrupt initiated IO. What happens at the same time, multiple interrupts occurs. Okay, keyboard is giving an interrupt, processor is mouse is giving an interrupt, magnetic disk is giving an interrupt at the same time. So definitely when an interrupt occurs, until here in interrupt initiated IO, everyone knows that it will stop its main program execution. The next address what it has to execute will be pushed into the stack with the help of push operation, and it provides a service to interrupt service routine. After completing those interrupt service routine execution, it returns back to the main program and it pops the address and it will execute. But what happens if there are multiple interrupts coming at the same time? It will stop. Until here it is same, but what happens, it has to provide the service to that. So what it will do, so it will check which is having the highest priority. So the the speed, it depends upon speed. So based on speed it will decide which will have a highest priority. So that can be designed in two ways. See here, that can be designed in two ways. One is software and the other one is hardware. This is 100% question. Either you will get this in large or either you will get in short, but 100% question mark. If you are watching movies or see, you try to open your notes and you try to write. So here there will be two priority interrupt will be implemented, will be designed in two ways. One is software and the other one is hardware. Software is polling. So software is the name that you given is polling, and the hardware is daisy chaining and parallel priority. In our syllabus we are having daisy chaining and parallel priority. Daisy chaining in hardware is serial. See, is in serial way, ma'am. So let me show this diagram. So polling. So first of all, polling is what? Identify, first of all, if there are n number of interrupts coming to the processor for processor service, identify the highest priority source by software. Means one common branch address is used for all the interrupts. Okay, so whenever there is a interrupt, it has to jump to interrupt service routine. For that, or those addresses are placed common, all interrupts addresses are placed common, and programs polls the interrupt source in sequence. So those sequence will be placed in such a way that the first sequence, whatever it is testing in the program, will be having a highest priority, next will be lowest. The highest priority source is tested first. Okay, so this is software. But the problem here in the software is, if there are number of if there are many interrupt sources, the time required to poll them can exceed the time available to service the IO devices. To overcome that, we are going for what? Hardware implementation. So in hardware implementation, it is daisy chaining priority, and it is very important. You will get this in a what? Short. Okay, so in daisy chaining priority, what is happening here? So here, ma, in a daisy chaining priority, so see here, as we studied in the 8086 pin diagram, two pins we already covered. So already knows everyone what are those two pins: interrupt request, interrupt acknowledgement. So one is interrupt request and the other one is interrupt acknowledgement. So here in a daisy chaining priority, so you this the see here, first, whenever external peripheral devices want to provide the want the service from processor, what it will do, it provides check my mouse cursors, ma. It provides an interrupt request. Interrupt request will be given to the processor. Upon receiving interrupt request, what processor will do? Processor must give an acknowledgement. But one, it will be given directly upon receiving. What internally it does? It does just answer, ma. Just give a message. Upon receiving a request, what processor will do? Will it directly jump to that external peripherals for providing the service? Now, what it will do? Just give a message, ma. See here, let us consider in this example. Prioritize. Okay, so it will give okay, priority. Let us consider, for sake of understanding, there are three devices. So let us consider there are three devices. In these three devices, two devices are given interrupt request, but processor will not know which device is given in request. So what it will do is, upon receiving a request, internally go inside that what processor is doing, try to consider. Processor will be executing some task. So what it has to do, you have to explain all. It will stop again, it will stop its execution, it will store the next address in the stack, and it will jump. So if it will come here and it will check which interrupt is accepting. So here here PI and PO, priority input, priority output. So here it will come here, and if it is 1, if it is priority input is 1 and priority output is 1, means it is not given an interrupt request. Okay, so first is not given an interrupt request. It will be based on priority input and priority output. So priority input, if it is 1, and by default, as these are the flip flop, now whatever the input that we are having will be passed. So here priority output will be 1. So if it is a priority output here, if it is 1, means that means it is not given any request for service. So by default, it will go to the next device. Okay, before that, why it is checking first the device 1, why not to device 2, is that by default in hardware designing in hardware configuration, the designing is such a way that the first device by default will be having a highest priority, next will be less when compared to the first one, last will be the least priority. Okay, so the connections in the hardware in a daisy chaining priority will be established in such a way that by highest will be placed in the first, next will be placed in the next, and last one will be the last priority. Means whenever multiple interrupts at the same time with the help of interrupt request received by the processor, what processor will do? Processor will give an interrupt acknowledgement and it provides a service to that. So it is going to this first device. Means what? this is the one which is having highest priority. So that is the reason it is designed this the designing is such a way that it first checks whether the highest device is having is requesting the service of mine. If it is not, what it will do, the highest is, let us consider here is a magnetic disk, so it is not given any interrupt request to the processor saying that I want your service. So what it has to do, it has to go and check to the next how many external peripheral devices are there, those many for providing the service. So it will go to the next step by this priority output as 1. So let us consider here pi priority. Let us consider this is the one, this is the one where it is given a request, where it is given a request to what cpu. So what it will do, it will give a request to cpu. So upon giving an interrupt acknowledgement, it will be priority input will be 1 and priority output will be 1. So interrupt acknowledgement will not pass to the next one, so that this is one which is giving a request. So what it will do, so it will provide an acknowledgement, and whatever the vector address is there, that vector address, whatever what is this vector address. So for branch address you will be having, previously I explained, for branch address you will be having, see here. So he interrupt initiated IO for branch address. You will be having two types of addresses. One is non-vectored and vectored. Non-vectored means fixed branch addresses will be there. Vectored means interrupt service supplies a branch address, means whomever is interrupting the processor for providing the service, that device will itself will give a address. So that is the reason that it is vector address. So here in the vector address will give its a branch address, whereas in non-vector address all those addresses will be located in a fixed location. So we are discussing here is a vector address. So which device is interrupting, which device is giving a request to the processor, that device will itself will give a vector address, that where those instructions are present. So this will give an vector address, and those vector address will be placed inside and processor will start executing. Okay, so try to see here. Once again I am repeating. So what is priority interrupt? So what is interrupt driven IO? What is the difference between programmed IO and interrupt driven IO? Which one is having, which one will execute fast? Just I'm not asking Alma, just if you understood, you try to give a message so that I can yes, interrupt initiated IO. Why? Because in interrupt initiated IO, processor will not check continuously whether the data is ready in data is ready in the IO interface or not. So whereas in interrupt initiated IO, once it is ready, processor will do its own work. Once it is ready, IO interface will give an interrupt saying that the data is, IO interface will give an interrupt to the processor saying that the data is ready. Now you can take the data and you can place it inside a memory. Now coming in again in interrupt initiated IO, there is a priority interrupt. So what is a priority interrupt? If one interrupt occurs, no problem. If one multiple interrupts coming to the processor at the same time is, processor has to, for example, for the previous case I explained about boss, PA and clients. If at the same time, if so many clients are coming for meetings, what boss has to do, who based on their designation, who is having a highest designation will be given an appointment, and the remaining will be in the waiting state. In the same way here also, if there are multiple interrupts, so only one will be, so the others will be in the waiting state. Okay, so for that there are two ways you can implement. Either you can implement in software, or either you can implement in hardware. If it is software, means it is polling. So where the fixed, all the branch addresses will be stored in the fixed locations. All one common branch address is used for all the interrupts. So and those fixed locations whatever we are placing, all will be placed in such a way that first will be highest priority, next will be. Here in hardware also, hardware designed in such a way that first device will be highest priority, next will be less when compared to the first one, last will be the least one. Okay, so at this at the time, if it is giving an interrupt request, upon receiving an interrupt, what processor will do, again you have to explain. It will stop its main program execution, it will store that address, everything will you have to explain. Again it provides an interrupt acknowledgement, and what it will do, it checks this. If pi equals to 1, that means it has not given any request, interrupt request, so it comes here. If pi equal po priority output is 0, that means this is a 1, this is a device which is given an interrupt. This device vector address will be placed and will be executed. So this is daisy chaining priority. Now coming for anyhow you completed IOP and DMA, but let me complete the overall differences between all. Can anyone tell me what is the difference between interrupt initiated IO and DMA? Which one is good? Processor time will be wasted more in interrupt initiated IO or DMA? Just at least to two members answer means I will go move forward fast. I will go for the next point, next topic. No one? Yes, good. So I got an answer. Processor time will not be wasted much in DMA when compared to interrupt initiated IO. Why? I will explain again. See here. Where is this first slide? Yes, I'm getting an answer. So the DMA will take a processor time will be so see here, processor time will be taken more in interrupt initiated IO when compared to DMA. Why is that? Listen here, ma. CPU here previously CPU involvement is there. CPU's involvement is there both in programmed IO and interrupt initiated IO for transferring the external peripheral data to memory. So just now what I said, you have to understand this, what is happening, why we are doing all this. Then you can get an idea why DMA is this is your memory, this is your CPU, this is your external peripheral devices. The connections will be like this. Okay, so external peripheral device, whenever they want to store the data, for example, now I have a secondary pen drive, I have a pen drive. In my pen drive I'm having one movie, latest movie. I want to store it inside a memory. So you cannot store directly with the help of a CPU, you have to store. So what CPU will do? CPU with the help of CPU involvement, there are two techniques. If this is a data transfer modes, with the help of this, you will have two. What are those two? One is programmed IO and the other one is interrupt initiated IO. Programmed IO, processor will continuously checks whether they are ready to transfer the data. Whereas in interrupt initiated IO, processor just issues a read command, and after that, after completing data transfer, processor will get an interrupt. Upon that, it will. Whereas in DMA, DMA, this is your DMA. Let us consider. Can anyone answer? Once the data is ready, once a processor will get an interrupt, what processor will do? See, ma, here I want an answer, at least one, so that I will move forward, ma. Please. See here, in this diagram, where is this? So in this diagram, here in this diagram, see here, just now in the programmed IO, processor will continuously monitor if it is ready. What processor will do? Processor will take the data which is there in the data register and will place it inside a memory, right? So whereas in interrupt initiated IO also, your processor will get an interrupt, will take the data and will place in the memory. What happens in DMA? Can anyone? What happens in DMA? I got an answer that processor time will not be wasted much in DMA when compared to interrupt initiated IO. Why? Why is that? In DMA, whereas in programmed IO and interrupt initiated IO, the data, if it is ready, processor will get an interrupt and processor will take the data from IO interface and will place it inside a memory. Whereas in DMA, DMA will complete all the tasks what processor will do. Means from just a processor. Just I got a message. Yes, DMA will access and will store the data. Okay, so instead of CPU in the middle, so here instead of CPU in the middle, what DMA will what see everything will be given. So DMA CPU everything will be given to DMA CPU. Okay, what external peripheral devices here is a memory. Previous case in the middle CPU is we used a CPU, whereas in now we are using DMA. Okay, so when external peripheral devices are ready, the data will be placed, and the data with the help of this DMA will be placed inside a memory. Then processor will get an interrupt. Okay, then processor will get an interrupt saying that data transfer has been completed. Why DMA has to give a interrupt signal to the CPU that data transfer between external peripheral device and memory completed is that why? Because for doing this DMA will be acting as a slave. So for doing this DMA for direct memory access from external output to memory, processor is giving what? System bus. Meanwhile processor is giving a system bus for transferring the data from external peripheral device to memory. But we are having an advantage here is processor time will not be wasted much while DMA is doing a transfer from external peripheral devices to memory. Meanwhile processor will be busy in doing its own work. So that is the reason that DMA will be advantage when compared to interrupt initiated IO. Whereas in interrupt initiated IO, just will give an interrupt to the processor saying that data is ready. Again, upon receiving the request, processor has to take the data and it has to place it inside a memory. The taking the data and placing inside a memory will also be done in DMA, will also be done by DMA. Processor just to issues a command. Okay, again there is a big story for DMA, direct memory access. Again, how where it has to store, how many words bytes it has to store, everything will be given by DMA. Anyhow, this is completed by your madam. And coming to IOP, so can anyone tell me the difference between what is DMA and IOP? I want the difference between DMA and IOP. Anyone? Okay. Just anyone? Okay. See here, by seeing this diagram, you can able to understand the difference between DMA and IOP. So this is, see here. Here whereas in the DMA what DMA will do, DMA once the external peripheral devices are ready, DMA will take that data and will be placed inside a memory and will give an interrupt to the processor that data transfer completed. Whereas here in DMA, I will try to compare DMA and IOP so that you can understand is what CPU role. Okay, CPU role in DMA is what CPU will give from where if it is write operation, there will be two operations in the first diagram you can see. So IO read, IO write. What is this IO read, IO write? Processor will place a data inside a data register and this data must be going to output devices, or else IO read means processor wants to take the data from external peripheral device, will execute and will place the data. So two directions will be there, IO read and IO write. Okay, so for that, so where it has to do, where is this DMA? Okay, so where it has to place everything will be processor will give information to DMA if you are transferring the data from external peripheral devices to memory. So in which location you have to place. If for example I have given one as I am a professor, I have given some information to a student saying that I have given one book and I have given to the student saying that you go and keep that book in somewhere, but without saying in which cabin you have to place, without saying anything, you cannot do, right? So why? Because you are a student. So same like why DMA cannot do Why? Because DMA is just is used for transferring. Processing capacity will not be there for DMA. So in the same way, what happens in CPU? CPU will give the data, everything data, how many boxes you have to transfer, how many bytes you have to transfer, and it will also mention where you have to place inside a memory, and it will fill all the registers that are present in the DMA, word count register, size of that, and everything. Whereas in IOP, this will also be not, that processor whatever that it is doing in DMA will not be done in IOP. So just in IOP, just what IOP will do, processor will give just initial command saying that these are your IO instructions, you execute. So what IOP will do, IOP will take the instructions from, will store, will execute, everything will be done by IOP. So which one is advantage, IOP or DMA? Whereas in DMA, CPU is initiating by giving an information that where to store, how many bytes to store, in which address you have to do, whether you have to do read operation or write operation.